Ready?
Yep.
Set. Aquaba, y'all.
Firstly, fuck you. Secondly, you really could have edited that countdown out and made it look a little bit better.
So, Huru, my name is Gazi Kodzo, and I am a leader in the African People's Socialist Party. And this over here, this male assassin, toilet seat complexion individual, is actually my comrade. Oh my God, crazy, right? He's my comrade, and his name is
Jesse.
No, he's also a fellow idiot such as yourself. Something that will be seen in a few moments.
And he is
National Chair of Uhuru Solidarity Movement.
Uhuru.
Yet another meaningless title. It means nothing because it's bullshit, just like Gazi.
So, Jesse, have you heard some of my people kidnapped one of your people, put him in a tub and beat him up a little bit? You know, they scraped him up a little bit, tied him, went on live stream and stuff about it. Have you heard about it?
Okay, first off, the fact that he's making light of the numbers. 4 black thugs. I'm calling them thugs because that's what they were. You act like a thug, you get called a thug. And no, being a thug is not cool, it's not hip, it's trash. And if you act like it, you're going to get called it. I don't care what race you are. If you act like a thug, you are a thug. 4 thugs kidnapped one mentally disabled white guy, tortured him, forced him to drink toilet bowl water, beat him, and you fucking are making light of it, you sorry ass sack of shit. If it had been 4 white people and 1 black mentally disabled person, you would have had a fucking meltdown. You would be screaming for race riots. But no, because the roles were reversed, it's completely okay because in your delusional fucking mind, every white person is the same and responsible for every other white person's actions.
I did. I heard about it.
Crazy, right? But actually, it's not so crazy since, your people built an entire capitalist, imperialist society on top of my people.
Again, with your idiotic blaming all white people for the actions of their ancestors. Now, if we can just blame all black people for the race riots, all the violence, all the drug dealing, all the murders, all the rapes, all the burglaries, all that on every black person alive today. Oh, wait, that would be racism. Because that would be racist. Oh, that's right. Only white people can be racist because we're the devil. You fucking retard.
You want to talk about kidnapping and torture? Can we talk about the almost 700 years of kidnapping and torture of African people? The reason why I'm here speaking English in this fluent white girl tongue right now, is because
it is because your mom met your father. They fucked. She got pregnant, had the baby, sadly, which grew up to be you. Not because of slavery. Your ancestors were brought here because of slavery. Your mom meeting your dad and screwing, that could have happened in Africa. Just as well as it happened here. I love the fact that you like to blame everything on slavery. You blame your problems, your existence on slavery. If it wasn't for slavery, your stupid ass wouldn't be here to spout stupidity on YouTube. So sure, everything white people do is evil. Yet, if it wasn't for white people, you wouldn't exist. So, yeah. But also the fact, just for the record, not all white girls talk like that. I have seen white girls sound more masculine than you.
my people, was kidnapped and tortured and was put into this system, okay?
And again, here he goes, blaming all white people for our ancestors' actions. How can you blame us for slavery? It started before we were born, ended before we were born. Okay, literally, no one alive today was around when slavery began or ended. Therefore, it is not our fault. It's called blaming our ancestors. That's different. But you blame every white person from the beginning to the end of time for one large group's actions.
So, if you want to talk about kidnapping and torture, then you need to talk about what built the United States of America, which was kidnapping and torturing, okay? And the torturing that goes on right now in America.
Last time I checked, torture is illegal. Like, exactly what those four little thugs in Chicago did was torture. That is illegal. Hence why they got arrested, you half-witted moron. And I think it's funny you talk about black people being tortured today. Actually, where's the torture of black people more prevalent? The actual torture, not the in your head, I'm black so I'm tortured torture. The actual physical, factual torture act. Last time I checked, it was in Africa. Because, in Africa they have warlords and all that, tribal warfare, they're fighting amongst each other all the fucking time. So, yeah, there's that.
When we have to watch television and see our children being murdered in the streets, being murdered in the playgrounds, being murdered in beds, getting their water poisoned, having their daddies and mommies pushed into these mass incarceration prisons, which is just, slavery 2.0, that's torture, okay? When you push a people and you take our resources away, our gold, our minerals, our diamonds, our lands away, and then force us to be, submissive to you just to get a welfare motherfucking check.
Okay, first off, we didn't force you to do anything. Our ancestors forced your ancestors. There's a difference called ancestors. Generations. Time has passed. Secondly, you do realize, while yes, there are more blacks in prison than whites, blacks make up more of the crime because they live in the inner city. Because you'll talk about that here in a bit, but of course, from the point of view of all black criminals are the victims, so yeah. But also, we're not forcing you to get a welfare motherfucking check. You're doing that because the people that get welfare checks, most of the time, especially in the inner city, they don't want to work. I don't know why. That's just the way I've seen it. Oh, they like, no, I'd rather, stay home, sell drugs, get a welfare check, and all this and that bullshit. Here's what you do. If you don't want to get a welfare motherfucking check, as you so eloquently put it, get a job. Work at a convenience store. Do something. But no, you go out, you join gangs. How are you supposed to get an actual reputable job if you're in a gang? Because if I owned a business, I sure as fuck would not hire a gang member. Because it increases the chances of gang violence around that business. Do you see the point? Gang violence is a real problem, and you aren't helping it by joining gangs. You join a gang and expect to get a job? Fuck out of here with that kind of bullshit.
Okay, that is torture. When we have to fight amongst each other just to live. When we have to rob each other just to live, just to eat. That's what you call torture.
No, that's what I call being unable to get a job because you've got a criminal record or are part of a gang. Because let's face it, if you have to rob someone to get ahead or get food or whatever, most likely it's because you can't get a job because you have a criminal record, because of where you grew up in the inner city, gang violence or drugs, got arrested, went to jail, you got a record, so you can't get a good job. So, but yes, please tell us how your idiotic, stupid, bad decisions are the fault of the white people, because everything's our fault. But everything good, all the inventions in the world, are the results of black people, even when there's none around to help.
Okay, so this whole moral equivalency that the colonial media, when I say colonial media, I mean cracker media, white media, imperialist media, white power media, capitalist
Media.
media.
Oh, white media. Yeah. That's bullshit. Um, you do realize not every news anchor on the news is white, right? Just the first one off the top of my head, Don Lemon, for example. He's not white. I can't name any more because I don't watch the news because it's all biased, and I'm just sick and tired of being told things from one perspective and not both. But tell me this. If the media is so white and colonial, how is it we've got, what, half a dozen networks dedicated to black communities? BET and the like. You've got channels, Black Entertainment Television, and other networks that I don't even know the name of because they're not as popular as BET, that are directed solely at the black community, that have nothing but black people on there, no white people. How is that not racist? Think about it. If there was a white entertainment television, people would be picketing and rioting and screaming racism. So, yeah. How is that not part of the quote white colonial media, as you so stupidly put it? Because it's owned by a black man. It is programmed, aimed, and broadcast specifically for the black community. Therefore, not white people. So, how is that part of the quote unquote white colonial media?
That's what we're talking about, right, Jesse?
Yes.
And tell the people why is the colonized people and the colonizer people not equal in this situation? Because what they're trying to depict is these 4 African teenagers are just bad, horrible people, and this innocent white man. There's no such thing as an innocent white man, Jesse.
Listen here, you fucking retarded jack off. Yes, he's innocent. He was a mentally disabled guy that had done nothing to no one. But these 4 thugs decided to kidnap him and torture him because of the color of his skin. How many times do we have to point that out? They said, quote, fuck Trump, fuck white people. Right there. Fuck white people. Seriously. It's based on the whole attack was based on the color of his skin. But it's not racist because he was white. You fucking idiot. If anything happens simply based on the color of someone's skin, it is defined as racism. You idiot. Or are you too stupid to read a dictionary? Oh no, it was written by white people, so it's racist. But then you use that excuse about a dictionary being racist, but you're using the dictionary definition of racism, so kind of fuck you. But the fact these 4 thugs attacked a helpless, mentally disabled man of any race, doesn't matter, that is criminal. It is their fault, not the government's fault, not white people's fault, sure as shit not the victim's fault, not their parents' fault, their fault. No one is to blame but the 4 little thug bastards that did this. And anyone that defends them is no better. Anyone that defends their actions is a thug as well. End of discussion. And like you just said, there are no innocent white people. Yeah, there are. Me. I've never committed a crime, never been arrested. I've never done anything to someone based solely on the color of their skin. I am not a racist. Never have been, never will be. So yes, I am innocent. And if I was jumped by 4 black thugs, it would be their fault. They would be the criminals, not me, because I didn't do anything. So yes, this victim was innocent. You racist, sorry sack of shit. And anyone that thinks otherwise, that thinks this guy wasn't innocent, is mentally retarded. and should be in a mental home because, let's face it, to be that mentally deficient and think that guy was guilty of something, you have something seriously wrong.
Can he tell that to the people?
Yes, I mean, every dream and aspiration of every white person comes at the expense of every African person in this country and on this planet.
How, smartass? How do my dreams and aspirations come at the expense of anyone of color? Maybe my dreams don't involve other people, period. Hey, I started a YouTube channel. It doesn't hurt anybody else, does it? How is my aspiration to make a successful YouTube channel come at the expense of anyone of color? It doesn't. How does my dreams and aspirations of having a family and being a good father and husband, how does that come at the expense of someone of color? It doesn't. Fact of the matter is this. I'm open to being with, marrying, and having kids with a woman, white, black, Latina, Asian, any race, any creed, any color, it doesn't matter. So how does that come at the expense of someone of color?
We are a colonizer population. We live on the backs of African people. So when an African person whose backs we sit on rises up and tries to push us off, that is not the same. You cannot judge that with the same moral compass as you would the behavior of the one who's been lynching and murdering and raping African people for hundreds of years.
Last time I checked, lynchings, rapings, and murders are all illegal, no matter the race of the victim. Also, last time I checked, that's not acceptable here anymore. It is not common practice to do such things based on someone's race. Such behavior is not tolerated, period. But like I said before, where are the rapes, tortures, and killings of blacks most prevalent? In black communities and in Africa. In Africa, the warlords, they rape, murder, torture all the time. But where is your outrage about that? You don't have any, apparently, because it's okay because it's black on black. The only problems you have are with white people. Do you not see the hypocrisy? Because if you don't, you have serious issues. Because more blacks are murdered and tortured in Africa in a single month, probably, than America in a year. Or decade. Or century, even. Because we are more civilized over here. Because we have laws. We have a government. We have rules. Over there, because it's so divided and still tribal, there's a thing called chaos, warlords, violence, destruction. So, yeah. But no, please tell me how it's still every white person's fault.
Exactly, Jesse. Exactly. And then this whole depiction of, oh, but he was mentally ill. He was mentally ill. Colonizers can be mentally ill and they're still a freaking colonizer. And I don't really take mental illness or disabilities of white people very seriously because white people, they sneeze twice and all of a sudden they mentally ill and they got...
How is that guy a colonizer? Motherfucker, he was probably born here. Just like your stupid ass was born here, so you're not loot. How? How is he a colonizer when he was fucking born here? He's from here, idiot. And, yeah, mental illness is a serious issue based not on race. It is a serious issue that needs to be taken care of. But no, he's white, so fuck him. Fuck you.
If you want to talk about mental illness, talk about African people who don't know where we come from, don't know our land, don't know our language, don't have access to our own resources. Talk about that, okay?
Okay. I'll talk about black people that don't know where they come from and don't know all that. It's simple. It's called lack of
knowledge,
not mental illness. I can't help their parents never taught them where they come from. I have a mother that was kind enough to go through my genealogy, find out where our family comes from, and you know, told me about where we come from. I happen to be Irish. She's German. So yes, I know where I come from because she put in the work to help me learn. I, I cannot be held responsible for someone else's parents not doing that. And it is not mental illness. It's lack of
knowledge.
nothing more.
No one on this planet is more mentally abused than African colonized people who are on the bottom of the pedestal of this entire thing you call capitalism, this entire thing that you call the white nations, what gives wealth to Europe, what gives wealth to Australia, Canada, and America.
Again, it's not mental abuse. It's lack of
knowledge.
Which shouldn't be a problem, seeing as there's a thing called the internet. And you can go on websites, Ancestry.com, Genealogy.com, just to name two. Get on there and trace your family tree. You can even do DNA tests to find out where your DNA comes from. Do that. Learn where you come from, then go learn about the area. Learn about the people. Learn about the traditions and everything. Wow. Kind of sounds like I just solved your problem.
Okay, you want to talk about mental illness, then let's talk about that. Because white people don't have mental illness when it comes compared to an African.
We don't have a mental illness when it comes to this African American. And I say African American because, again, you aren't African. You are an American who happens to have ancestors from Africa. You were born in Atlanta, therefore you are not African unless you decide to, hopefully one day, move there and not come back.
When it comes compared to an African who has to live a submissive, subhuman life to white imperialism every freaking day.
They don't. For example, I have 4 cousins and an uncle who are black. They don't live subhuman, submissive lives. They have good lives. They went to college, graduated college, have good jobs. I know countless people that don't live subhuman, submissive lives because they actually have jobs. They go out, make their own way, unlike some people in the black community are unwilling to do. So, you equate all black people to those that are unwilling or unable because of criminal records or whatever to get a job to make a better life for themselves. Stop generalizing.
When we can't even walk down these streets without thinking, is everything in place before I get stopped by a police officer? When we see lights or hear sirens or anything, our heart races, our heart stops. This is why we have high blood pressure. This is why we have so many mental illnesses in the African community, okay?
First, you cannot hold all white people responsible for the racist, bigoted actions of a few cops. I say few because in the grand total of cops in this country, it is a few. Secondly, I'm sorry that there's a problem with a portion of police in this country. I really am. But you cannot blame everyone that is white for that problem. Stop it. It's childish. Thirdly, that does not cause mental illness. It causes paranoia and fear. Mental illness is chemical, genetic, not that.
Can you talk something about this mental illness shit with white people?
Because yes, it takes a white guy to discuss mental illness in white people because, as we all know, white people's mental illness is totally different.
I mean, if there are mentally challenged or disabled white people who are getting fucked over on this pedestal of the oppression of African people, it's not African teenagers that are responsible for that. It's this system.
Did this motherfucker literally just say that those 4 black Chicago thugs aren't responsible for their actions? That it's the white government that did it or some shit like that? No, you moron. They chose to do what they did. They did those actions. They are the ones to blame. Stop passing the buck. Stop this bullshit. Oh, they're not responsible for their actions. Fuck you. Yes, they are. They're old enough to know between right and wrong. They chose to do the wrong thing. They are the ones to blame. Nothing else.
It's capitalism, it's colonialism, the same parasitic, vicious, violent, blood-sucking, dehumanizing system that has been causing death and destruction for the majority of the people on the planet. That's what, as an offshoot of that, white mentally challenged people and disabled people will have no social institutions that are there to protect them or to, assist them in their well-being.
Seriously? Have no place to assist with their mental illness and all that? Really? There are mental health facilities across this country. Seriously? No services? What? Are you that delusional or stupid or ignorant or just outright lying? There are mental health facilities everywhere to help people. Not just white people. Black people, Latinos, Asians. Hell, we'll even help the Canadians.
Ah, fucking hell! Yeah.